What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and yes, what a great game. I'm worried though because, I had the thought today as we're playing and as we're just easily handling this game. The thought came to mind of Tuchel's a genius. I trust Tuchel now. And the last time I thought that, we lost the next two games 1-0 in pretty poor fashion. So, a little worried now, especially because Man U is a game. It's a weird one. Most of the time when you face Man U, you don't expect to think, yeah, that should be an easy game. But based on where they are right now, that should be an easy game. They stepped it up against Villarreal a bit today, but they still weren't good on the whole of it. Villarreal should have put the game away in the first half. So it still wasn't a great performance. They're still kind of trying to figure out what's going on. They have talent, but they just don't have a good team dynamic right now. And they're going to be without, two of their, one good defender and then one who, with Anthony Taylor as the referee, he's a great rugby player, and that benefits them. So they're going to be without both of them, so that also benefits us, and it's at home where we're in good form and we're playing well, and it all is set up to feel like that should be an easy game, which is why I'm worried, because it feels like whenever I'm looking at a game thinking that should be easy, it never is. Burnley is another good example. That should have been an easy game, and it was not. So a little worry there for me personally, and that's just because I've been hurt in the past, and there's that sense of dread whenever I start to have a little too much confidence in Tuchel and what he's doing. But anyway, focusing on the game today, obviously fantastic game today, fantastic performance, a fantastic team and individual performances, and all around just great game. Great to watch, fun as a Chelsea fan. It was awesome. So first of all, let's talk about Tuchel. Lineup-wise, not bad. Little surprising in some points. I like seeing the same back three because I feel like this back three is probably our best back three at the moment. And I like seeing them together constantly so that way they get a chance to sort of figure out how each other plays and learn how to play off of each other. And it's really good to see the same back three for more than one game at a time. Because there are some times when it feels like he changes up the back three a little too much. And I get the fact, you're going to make rotations because of how many games we have. But in a situation like this, when they didn't have a whole lot to do against Leicester, good to see that they ended up playing again today. Same wingbacks as well, which is good. And then two same midfielders. So all the back seven are the same. And I don't mind that because we want a good, solid defensive lineup. And I feel like he does that with this team. So good there. Front three was kind of interesting. Because first of all, Pulisic on for Havertz is the false nine, and then Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi flanking him. And ultimately worked out well. They played well together, but at first it was a little weird because we had three very similar players. Because they're all really wingers, if we're being honest. Hudson-Odoi is at his best when he's driving down the line, taking players on. Ziyech, typically his best play is when he has time and space out wide to take on a player and then deliver a great cross. Pulisic, great at driving down the line and cutting in with pace. So three very similar players all playing up front, and there were times at the first half before we scored the first goal that it kind of felt that way. It kind of felt like they were very similar in the way they were moving and the runs they were making, and it took some time for them to kind of figure out what they were doing. But once they got it figured out, the movement was great, the interplay and interchanging passes. It was all fantastic, and they moved the ball so well today. So, yeah, all three of them were great. And then the subs, Conte has to come off through injury. Only downside today, one of two injuries, unfortunately. But, Loftus-Cheek coming on, that's an obvious choice without Kovacic. And then, second half subs. Surprised not to see Alonso. Don't know what's going on with him right now because he's a player that we haven't seen in a while, so obviously, with Chilwell possibly being out for a while, maybe Alonso comes back in. But it was interesting to see him go with Azpilicueta over Alonso, which I don't mind because I like Azpilicueta. But for Alonso's point of view, it's a little concerning for him that he's not even the next choice after Chilwell. It's Azpilicueta instead. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe something that Tuchel is seeing in his training he doesn't really like. But and then who are the others that came on? Werner came on for Pulisic, which was good to see him get some minutes. Saul came on for, I think, Jorginho later on. Good to see him come on with the game pretty much wrapped up. So now he gets to play with a little bit more freedom and get some good minutes under his legs. And then who was the other one? Mount came on for Hudson-Odoi, I think. I believe that was all the subs. I don't think I'm missing anybody. But yeah, I mean, all of those subs are fine. You're giving some minutes to some players that need time. And yeah, I mean, all in all, Tuchel did well today with his picks. Just hope he doesn't, do something weird against Man U, like put Jorginho and Saul in the midfield and then bring on Barkley for whoever our hardest working player is in the second half. And just, I'm worried now. Like I said, I think he's a genius, and now that typically is when he suddenly is not a genius for the next couple games. Individuals, though. Mendy in goal obviously didn't have much to do today, and just he was always ready and always aware. There was one moment where I don't know if it was a communication thing or if the defender didn't hear him, but there was a scary moment where defender didn't get out of his way, and he ends up not catching it because of that. But aside from that, very good. I think he had like one solid hit from McKennie that he had to save. Everything else was pretty straightforward. So all in all, good for him today. In the back line, Chalobah had another great game, and he's constantly proving that he has the ability to play at this level. He has the ability to be in the first team and constantly be in the first team, and scoring a goal as well. I mean, it's a great first season for him here after all of all of these players that have come through and just like sold them off. It's great to see some academy players getting a chance to step in and prove themselves. And Chalobah's been absolutely one of the beneficiaries of that this season, and he's just constantly rewarded the team with his great performances. So I hope to continue to see him. Silva had another solid game, just constantly being the solid defender, the one that's just in the right place at the right time. Made a great clearance off the line from Murata, and just did what he did. This is a typical Silva performance from him. Keeps that center forward quiet because he's always in the right place. It doesn't matter how good the forward is. He's always in a place where that center forward can't get onto the ball because he's put himself in a good position to intercept. It'll be really interesting to see him up against Ronaldo if Ronaldo stays central this weekend, because he tends to kind of float out wide a bit more nowadays. But Silva versus Ronaldo would be an interesting matchup because Ronaldo's obviously very strong and fast. Well, not as fast as he used to be, but he's got that good forward experience sense against an experienced defender. That's a good matchup. I'm excited to see that. And then Rudiger, another good performance from him. Just typical Rudiger, bullying players, taking them out occasionally. But all in all, still a good defender. A little bit less stupidity from him today, which is good to see because, I talked about against Leicester, there were some moments where he did something stupid that there was a potential of a yellow, and no need to get unnecessary bookings. So if he could keep himself out of the referee's book for a while, that's always a good thing for him. But James had probably one of the best games of his season this year. I mean, I've talked about how his work rate could always use a little bit of improvement. Today is much more what I expect to see from him. So much work rate out there, constantly being an option, constantly working hard to win the ball back. He wants to be on the ball. Great finish off the volley. I mean, he was all around the field today. And, obviously as far as his side of the field, I just realized how that sounded. He was all over the field, but isn't he a right wing? Shouldn't he stay over there? You guys get what I mean. He was all over his side of the field today, constantly running up and back, making challenges. I mean, it was great. He honestly probably deserves man of the match for his performance today because out of a great performance all around, he was probably the pick of the bunch for me because he was so solid today and just gave us so much on both sides. So good to see from him. It's something that I can look at and feel a lot more confident in him because, again, he's always shown good talent. It's just, can he give us something for the full 90? Can he constantly be a threat? Can he constantly work hard and just give the team everything? And he did that today. So great to see. Chilwell, decent performance from him. His finishing again, a little lackluster, but overall his performance was great. And then unfortunate to go out with an injury. I am worried. I haven't actually looked to see if they've confirmed anything yet, but based on the fact that he is holding his knee and it did kind of look like an awkward tangle, it's always a worry whenever it's a knee injury. There's always that chance, could it be an ACL? So I really hope and pray that that's not what it is, because I'd hate for him to be out for the rest of the season. But I'm hoping it was just an awkward turn, a knee twist or something, and he'll just be back after maybe a month or so, because we don't want to be without him for long, because Alonso has his moments, but Chilwell, kind of similar to my argument between like James and Azpilicueta. James has great finishing qualities, but typically Azpilicueta works harder. I feel the same way about Alonso and Chilwell. Alonso typically is a bit better finisher, although Chilwell was finishing well recently. But typically I think Chilwell just works harder for the team and gives a little bit more on both sides. So I'd rather see Chilwell out there personally. Into the midfield, Conte, like I said, also went out with injury. Hopefully nothing too bad. Hopefully just, I know he's had a bit of a persisting injury recently, so maybe he's just feeling it a little bit and didn't want to risk it. So I'm hoping that's what it is, and he's still fit to play against Man U in the weekend, because we still need him. He's still one of our best players, even if he's not playing at 100%. And then Jorginho honestly had probably one of his better games as well, because it wasn't necessarily his type of game. It wasn't a game where Juventus were really sitting off and just like no pressure at all. They were still pressing pretty high, and he was doing a good job of keeping possession and keeping the ball moving in the midfield. So that was good to see. The only issue I think I had with Jorginho today was just a little bit lack of that forward ball. There's a lot of keeping it moving back and forth, which, possession is always good whenever you want to kind of take the momentum away from the other team. But there were some times where it felt like he had the chance to play that ball in behind or find that great pass that could set up a good chance for us. And instead of taking that, he just took the nice, easy outside pass instead. So a little bit of that from him today, but that's kind of something that I've come to expect from him, honestly. So I'm not too surprised, just a little disappointed. And then the front three, like I said, all three of them played well. The weakest one out of the three, and when I say weakest, I don't mean he had a bad game, but Pulisic was a little quiet today. But on that, one, I think he had a good recovery game. It's a good game for him to get out there and kind of run his legs, get himself back up to fitness. So that was good. But also something else that I really liked about his performance today was the movement was fantastic. It's something where I look at Havertz and what he brings when he's in the false nine, and he doesn't really get out of that center spot very often. Occasionally he will, but most of the time he's just there, and he's waiting for the ball to come to him, and most of the time he's pressured by 2 or 3 defenders and then loses it. Whereas Pulisic today, kind of similar to how Werner plays as a striker, where he's making runs in behind, he's moving back and forth across the line, and really making defenders have to shift to adjust for his movement. And I feel like that really benefited Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi behind him, because they were able to play in a bit more space because of Pulisic's movement. So I really appreciated that from him today, and I feel like it's a good step again in the right direction for him in his return, in his recovery. Then you have Ziyech. I've had my issues with him. I've had some problems with how he's been playing. I've had some problems with the season so far. Today, by far, probably his best game. And I'm talking since he's come into the club, today was his best game. He was fantastic. He was all over the place. He was working hard to win the ball back. His delivery was great. His movement, his ball movement, the little 1-2 passes. It was just, this is what I want to see out of him. This is the type of performance I expect to see out of Ziyech. So if he can keep this up, I'd love to see him in the team more. The problem is he doesn't often put in these performances. I've seen him put in this performance before, but then the next few games he's just kind of quiet and he's not really involved. So he needs to keep this consistency. He needs to be playing like this every game, because he has this ability, and we've seen it several times. So hopefully, we see more. Hopefully he can continue to build off of this. But yeah, great game from him today. If James does not win man of the match, Ziyech would be my second choice. And then my third choice, well, it would be a toss-up between Chalobah and then Hudson-Odoi, because he had another great game today too. And he's been having consistently good games, but this one in particular, what was good about it is no fading in the second half. It's something that he's kind of had an issue with in the past. Not today. It was a good game all around, full 90. No, wait, not full 90. Was it full 90? Now I can't remember if it was full 90 or not. Did Mount come on for Hudson-Odoi or Ziyech? I don't remember now. But he played most of the second half, and he got himself a goal later on in the half and just was still very involved with the play and kept the ball moving, took on players, really took some chances. It was just all around a great game from him. So, yeah, for the starting lineup, they were fantastic, and it was great to see them all playing so well together. As far as the subs that came on, Loftus-Cheek came on in the first half and did well. Didn't have any real issues. A couple times it felt like, maybe should have released the ball a bit quicker. But his defending is getting better. He's working hard to win the ball back, which is not something he did before. So that's great to see because it's something he needs to be doing more of. So that's come into his game, which is great. And then his ability on the ball is great. His ball retention most of the time is really good. So, yeah, he's come leaps and bounds from where I remember him being when he first got a look in at the team. And I don't mind seeing him in the team now. It used to be where whenever he came on, I was a little worried because I didn't think we were going to get enough work rate out of him. But now he's working hard and he's really giving a good effort for the team. So it's a good look for himself. When he's playing that hard for the team, it's always good. So, yeah, great from him. Then I think Azpilicueta and Werner were the first two on. Azpilicueta obviously for Chilwell. And, again, he's never really been a great wing back. He's just solid out there, good work rate, really busting it up and down the pitch. On the right, on the left side, really not the best because there were several moments where the ball comes out to him. And you could see, normally if he was on the right side and that ball comes out to him, he takes a touch and has a hit. But because now he's on the left side, he has to take a touch, cut it back, and that gives the defenders enough time to sort of reposition and figure things out. And then his crossing is not the greatest. So normally where you can just put a cross in first time and the defenders haven't really adjusted yet, so they're not ready for that cross in. When he's on the left side, because he has to take an extra touch to get it to his right side, the defenders have more time to readjust, and his crosses, when the defenders are adjusted, are not great. So there's always that detriment with him playing on the left side, but I don't expect to see him there very often. I think it was just honestly, I guess Tuchel just wanted a bit more speed on that side because of, Cuadrado being on there and McKennie also going down that side a lot. I don't think he trusted Alonso's pace because of that, so that could have been it. Now, I know I said earlier, I'm not sure if maybe something going on behind the scene, but now I'm just thinking maybe that's why. Maybe he just would rather have Azpilicueta over there. But Werner, though, came on and looks back up to what we expect out of Werner. Hard work rate, but he also scored. So that's a step in the right direction for him because he's typically, that's the one thing he struggles with is those easy finishes where he shouldn't have any issues. But he did it today. Cross comes in, nice and easy finish. Good to see. So hopefully he can continue on that goal scoring form. But yeah, today it was a good sign for him to see that he's still got that energy and that ability to make those runs. Because we need him and Lukaku to come back at full fitness, and we need Lukaku to come back really better than when he left for injury. So, but anyways, on to the last two. Mount came on and full of energy again. Didn't really see much out of him, but still worked hard. Still gave his all, and I really do think he's struggling a bit right now to get back up to that full fitness because I know he's been hampered a bit with sickness and illness. And whatever he caught from that surgery. So I hope he can get back up to 100% because we need him playing at 100% right now. But still doing okay, still at least working hard for the team, working hard to win the ball back from the front. And that always puts, pressure on the back line to have to give the ball away, basically. So we're going to need that against Man U's back line because their back line is typically not great with ball retention. So if you have somebody up there like Mount who can put good pressure and force giveaways, that's always a good feeling because it means we have a lot more of the ball. And then finally, Saul came in the midfield and didn't really see much from him. No real fuss. Maybe a good game to just sort of get out there, get some minutes under your legs, have some touches of the ball, but nothing really in the spotlight for him. So I think that's probably the best because he first couple games we saw him, he was very much under the spotlight because of his poor performances. So I think it would be great for him to get out there in games like this where no real fuss, no real issues, and just play out his little bit of time to get some good minutes so that he can start to integrate himself in the team. And then maybe we'll see a bit more from him because I think he can be a good player. I mean, we saw some decent performances from him when he was at Atletico Madrid. So I'd like to see him come into the team and give us something because I'd like to see us get another good midfielder. But obviously we've not seen that from him yet. So, but anyways, all in all, I mean, again, 4-0 is a great result. It was a great team and individual performance, and everything about it, it does get me excited. You know, and there is that worry of overconfidence and complacency of things getting too easy. But I really do feel like there's a good feeling about this club. There's a good momentum that we're on. And it gives me hope that we can see out, the rest of this season, maybe get some trophies. I've got confidence that we'll be winning something. And that's a good feeling to have. Even if we do end up struggling a bit in the next couple games, I don't think it's going to really knock us off of any sort of momentum because we have such a good team chemistry at the moment that one little bump in the road is not going to cause any real issues. It may frustrate people like me because I want perfection, and I know that's not possible, but all in all, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to come next, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season holds. And I am kind of looking forward to this weekend, and hopefully we can blow away Man U and embarrass them. But anyways, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game today? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.